Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to HollingsWorthless podcast. This will be for Wednesday, July 15th, I believe. Yeah, July 15th. As always, I'm your host, Big Irish Jay. And we have
Cocaine.
Kane Holloway. There's a bunch of stuff we're going to cover in this. The main theme of this podcast, actually, Natasha Vincent, going by memory, I believe that's her name. She mentioned in one of the comments of one of our podcast posts that we should do. She loves hearing the road stories, the green room stories, bombing stories. So we're going to do like a kind of a loose top 10, maybe top 15 bombing / green room funny comedy stories. I have two of you, Kane.
Ooh.
But before that, wanted to talk about two other things. I mean, okay, not the Kane.
What? The Kane and Jay.
The Will and Jada thing.
Will and Jada, Kane and Jada. It's all
little
the same.
Freudian slip, maybe.
Oh, boy. Yikes.
Anyways.
Pick up the mug.
Oh, yeah, nice cup. So, yeah, Jada brought herself to the Red Table Talk to talk about her affair with August, and I don't know. I mean, everybody's commenting on it. I don't really want to spend too much time on it because it's like, dude, you watched it, right? After I told you to watch it? Yeah. Dude, it's brutal watching Will in that. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna make jokes about that shit, dude. Because I'm like, you can see the pain in his fucking face, and everybody's shitting on. And dude, it's like, you know, you as whatever celebrities, they are kind enough to let you bring you into their lives, and people immediately just, all right, let's fucking clown them. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't feel good about it. But you know, I'll let you talk on it. You know, because you watched it after I did. You didn't even know about it.
I had heard something about how she's coming to the Red Table. She had said she's coming to the Red Table to talk about the rumors, or I had heard something about it.
And you were like, Matrix 4?
Please.
Yeah.
She said, she was saying that people were buzzing about it, and I'd always heard about them having an open thing, and possibly Will had been messing around with Margot Robbie, and after they did a few movies together, and which would be hot. That would be good stuff.
Will Smith part, not the Margot Robbie so much.
Who needs Margot in there? Yuck, I say.
White devil! White devil!
White bitch! But Will, I don't know, regardless of the open relationship or whatever it is, you still don't want to know what's going down with the person you love. That's not what you want to see. You don't want to see or hear about the person you love being in an entanglement. Nice word usage.
Yeah, you also don't want the person you love to cheat on you, no. To fuck around. I mean, I think that might be a little higher on the list, Kane, than hearing about it. I just don't want it to actually happen.
Yeah, but you don't want them cheating on you, but if you don't know they're cheating on you, you know, you're kind of living, to reference the Matrix again, ignorance is bliss. I know this.
Yeah, that's from the Matrix. It was never said in the history of the world before the Matrix.
No, fucking, what's his name? Cypher is eating a steak, and he's like, I know the steak doesn't exist. I know when I put it in my mouth, it's just the Matrix doing a thing to mess with my mind to make it seem real. But you know what? And he takes a bite of the steak, and he's like, ignorance is bliss. So you don't know, but once it's in your face, then it's like, now it's real.
Or the guy's dick.
Yeah, when you start eating steak.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, that was pretty rough to watch. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it, you know, as content creators or whatever, or comics, like, we're always I don't know, it would feel weird to me to fucking shit on this dude that you can openly see the pain. I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't do it.
I wouldn't want to shit on Will. He didn't seemingly it's a marriage. It's their own shit that they got going on, and you know, people make mistakes, but yeah, him even saying like, hey, speak as clearly as possible as to what happened, so there is no question as to what happened. Like, you have to make sure that you speak with clarity here, because if you don't, people are going to run wild with this. I mean, they're going to anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to do it anyway. But Will is still trying to be the best dude in this whole thing by going like, Jada, you fucked me over, but I'm still willing to stand by you. So when you tell your story, make sure you give everything. And
He was like, I'm still big willing to hear you out.
wow. Oh my.
Sorry. Yeah. Um,
Oh,
it's so bad.
big
Uh,
Wilson style. Yes.
yeah, take a drink out of your wifey cup.
Mm.
Yeah, I did want to touch on one thing that you didn't know about, but we were talking about right at the beginning. 50 Cent's a piece of shit, dude. He's a fucking that's a fucked up thing. I don't know how close they are or were as friends, but yeah, 50 Cent DM'd him to ask him how he's doing, and Will was like, "Oh, thanks," and then he fucking made some shitty comment, and then being the great friend that 50 Cent is, posts it to the fucking world. I was like, I was following 50 Cent. I actually unfollowed him. I know that's such a, I didn't announce it like on his thing. I'm fucking, this is wrong. And
Listen here, world. Jay Hollingsworth will no longer be following Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
And Curtis Jackson responded with, who? Yeah, I was just like, fuck, dude, that's fucking, I can't imagine like some of the shit that me and you have told each other, like in private, pouring ourselves out, and then you just fucking, dude, yeah.
Then I just turn around and talk about it on my Instagram stories. Hey, going live with Jay's Secrets. He never loved his mom.
Jesus Christ. So that's all I'll say on the whole Will and Jada thing, and 50 Cent. Whatever they're dealing with their own thing. I think one of the reasons is, we as I was gonna say as guys, but I was just gonna say in people in general. I think we've all had our hearts broken, and then like to see the fucking, you're basically watching it happen. Yeah. And this guy's like fucking allowing it to be filmed. It's just fucking brutal, man. Because it's like it brings back all those times that we've all. To me, it does. It's like I'm like, oh, I know exactly how he's feeling right now, and I don't think I could. Even if I was in a split or whatever, I don't think I could get back with someone knowing that they fucked some. I guess that is the part that would be ignorance is bliss. Like if I broke, what they say in the Matrix. If I broke up with somebody and we're separated or whatever, yeah, we're separate for a year or 2 years. Whatever you did in that, cool. I don't need to know about it. But then if you're like, hey, just so you know, Kane came to me when he was in need, and he needed to release, so I fucked him. But we don't talk anymore. Can we get back together? And be like, no, go fuck Kane.
Someone pitched a book to me about how cheating can sometimes strengthen a relationship. How like the idea that people who cheat, it's not always really
written by a guy that had fucking 6 side chicks.
Exactly. I just like to fuck. Doesn't mean I don't love you any less.
Sorry, what were you saying though?
But I don't understand. But I haven't read it yet, so I can't really speak to it. But the basic concept is that the person who cheats is not really always the one at fault. I haven't read it yet. Maybe I'll pick it up, read it, and then we can revisit this topic. But it was kind of an interesting take on how sometimes the release of that can strengthen a relationship. I've always been an advocate that if you feel the need to want to go fuck somebody else, like you've fallen out of love with me and you want to go sleep with this person, then just break up with me and then go do it. Don't drag me through the mud, Jada.
Yeah. When you get done with that book, let me know. I'd like to use it for some fucking kindling.
I thought you were going to say toilet paper.
Yeah, fucking boo. Also, I literally, right before we went on this, I just found out about it. The Stand in New York posted this thing about Twitter was trying to cancel Jessica Kirson. So I just saw the post from The Stand, and they were like, Jessica's brought laughs for thousands, or not thousands, for many years, and we think you should go to her, you really want to let her know what you think, go to her dates on her website and make sure you're there and blah, blah, blah. I looked it up what it is. And first of all, let me just say about Jessica. Jessica is kind of like, I don't think she has this same mentality, but I kind of look at her almost as like my comedy mom. She, the first time I went up in New York at at Gotham, she was hosting, and she was like unbelievably nice to myself, who's just, some fucking nobody that's like 7 months in. And I remember watching her at the time and just being like, holy shit, this is wow, and then I remember, and like I said, she's very nice. She was like, you ever need anything, or you want input or need advice? And then I think like a year or two later, Roger Lazola was in New York. I was in New York, and I was performing at The Stand. And I told Roger, I saw Jessica was on the lineup. I was like, dude, you got to come see Jessica Kirson. She's amazing. And dude, he was in tears. He was like, oh fuck, man, this is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, right? And I when she came here to Arizona, I came up to hang out, and she gave me guest spots and everything. She is, and she has that motherly vibe, like, to the younger comics. Or younger in the game. Anyway, so I looked up what it is. So I guess 4 years ago, and she does characters. She does all kinds of characters. She has a joke talking about how the Happy Birthday song, the white version, is like, it sounds like it's so depressing. She's like, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. And then she says, like, the black version, she said she was at the party and her black friends started singing, and she's going crazy. She's like, happy birthday. She's fucking dancing and everything, right? Yeah. So she does like these old Jewish ladies. She's Jewish. She does these old Jewish women, her and Rachel Feinstein. And so she does all these different characters. Well, 4 years ago, she did a character, a black woman, like complaining about an otter or whatever. She wasn't in blackface or anything like that, but she did like a pretty fucking, like, extreme black voice or whatever. But she also had done this for years, all kinds of different characters, right? So someone, I don't know who the comic is. It says she's a comic. I don't know. She's also a writer for like Jezebel and other stuff, but some black lady named I forget her name. Anyways, but she told Jessica via Twitter, she was like, this is racist. And then everybody got involved. And Jessica was like, this is a character I did 4 years ago. I took it down. You actually took this from my Facebook and posted it here on Twitter. It was 4 years ago. I don't think it's funny now. That's why I took it down. And she's like, I've been doing characters for years. Can I do an Asian woman? Can I do, this and that? So, I don't know. I mean, it's it is brutal to watch, but again, it's, it's 4 years ago, and she does characters. Shit, I do fucking when Kev loves my stupid, I call it my 70s black guy voice, the, hey, say man,
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and that came about from like, we were doing a podcast or doing an ASCA, and I was like, all these black comics will always do the white guy voice, like, say, I have a small dick. Hello, I can't dance. And I'm like, should I be out there just be like, say, man, what's going on, man? This and that.
Right.
So I'm sure this will get brought up in 4 years and I'll get canceled. But the thing is, you don't know Jessica, do you?
No, I know of Jessica.
Yeah, Bill Burr just produced her most recent special. She is like, dude, it's like if anybody knew her, they know that she all she wants to do is make people laugh. All she wants to do is bring joy into the world. And she is like the epitome of like, she's just such a loving, nurturing person and comic. And one of, I put top 5 comics in the country. She's unbelievable. But yeah, so I wanted to touch on that because I posted a thing on Instagram. I reposted the Stan's comment and I said Jessica's the best, and she is. And I think she talked to the lady that called her out, whatever. And I think it got worked out. I don't know. But yeah, just because like you see all these comics are coming to defend her though. Giannis Pappas, Mark Normand, all these comedy, Lori Kilmartin, everybody is like, yo, Jessica's like, you're not gonna cancel Jessica. She's like the most loving person, you know.
And it's not. I think it'll blow over. I think I think it's slow news day for for them trying to cancel somebody, and they think, you know, they did it with my sister called me about Jenna Marbles.
Oh yeah.
How Jenna Marbles is just dropped out of it. She's like, look, these are characters at the time. No one had a problem with it. Now we're coming to the forefront.
Did you see him?
No, I haven't seen them. This is what my sister was telling me.
I did.
Are they bad?
Oh, there's some blackface.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like you like are defending something without seeing it, and then people are like, oh yeah, she murdered a baby on film, and you're like, oh fuck, I was defending that shit. I didn't know. I didn't know that side of her.
Right. Well, yeah, I didn't know there was blackface. Never do blackface.
Well, the other thing too, which is kind of fucked. Not only did she do blackface, but she took it down, and when she did this video, I saw the video where she was like, I'm done with YouTube for a while. I'm sorry, guys, I don't want to make people feel bad, which I get all that. But the thing that you keep thinking, because she had multiple videos of her doing blackface.
Oh, and no.
Yeah, at different times. But she kept saying, she was like, this video I did, and I didn't like it, so I took it down. But then she was like, let me show you the video so you know what it was. So she replays it, which also tells you she wasn't like, oh, this is such a bad video. I need to delete this. She was like, I'll just make it so you can't see it. But let me just hold on to it, I guess, in case blackface comes back into style. What the fuck are you doing?
Yo, there is some disconnect there. Yikes, bro. I thought it was the same kind of, I thought it was the same thing that yeah, can
you get your cat's fucking asshole out of the screen?
This isn't even my cat. What is happening?
Get it off. Kill it.
It's a biter. This one bites.
Well,
yeah,
I'd tell him I'm a fucking kicker and kick his ass off the fucking desk.
That's how you're gonna get canceled.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Maybe if it was a dog.
Cat lovers? Oh no, you can't kill animals no more. People yeah.
I mean, back in the day, man, you can kill a couple. Not anymore.
But yeah, that's more egregious if you're not gonna have the forethought to one, delete it. I mean, if you're gonna do it, not thinking, right? Which has been the whole conversation for white America in 2020 is we weren't thinking. We weren't thinking about how this affects others, right? So if you're now within that conversation and your thought process is, I will bring it up, apologize for it, delete it. Yeah. You still want to cancel me, that's at your discretion. Yeah. But I've grown and I understand. I'm trying to be a better person. But when you're like, it's kind of off to the side.
Yeah.
I might bring it back if people are cool with it, but if
it got like 50 million views, bro.
Since you're not now, let me show you a little snippet. Jenna.
Yeah.
No, dog. Wrong move.
Dude, and that's did you see the CEO of some company, I think in San Francisco, was drunk and then called a waitress a sand N-word. Dude, he was drunk at a restaurant and like, I guess he wanted more drinks and they had cut him off. So he's up there paying his bill, and his first insult, he goes, "Look at you, fucking, you're Saudi Arabia." And the lady goes, "I'm Saudi Arabia," and he goes, "Yeah," or whatever they are, whatever. And dude, and when he said that fucking sand N-word, like he said it like so casually, like he was just like, "Yeah, whatever, you and those sand N-word, blah 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 blah," and then just like kept going. And I'm like, "Yo, that's a pretty fucking yo." And so he's now it was his company too. He's now off. He's fired. This and that. It got me thinking though about when you're drunk. Like the rap group Little Brother has a line about money. It says money doesn't change you; it just makes you more of what you already are.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of the same of alcohol. Because I'm like, because I got hammered, dude, on Tahir's zooming with the homies. Should have been zooted, because I was fucking zooted. But I don't remember, and I will never drink like that ever again the rest of my life, which might be 3 years, who knows? And I've never drank, I don't know if I've ever been that drunk ever. I drink a whole, do you know about this? I told you I got hammered, right?
Mm.
Dude, this was probably 2 weeks ago. It was a 2-hour-long show, and I had a full bottle of Tullamore whiskey, and I was done with it probably within the first hour.
Oh no.
I don't remember anything from the second hour and through the rest of the night. I guess I told a story twice, and I had no idea. You know how I am when I'm drunk. I'm very touchy-feely. I'm very lovey.
Yep.
And I guess I was yelling. Dude, I watched. I'll send you the clip to it. It's one of those deals where I can't watch it now because I'm just.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
Hey, where are my keys? I gave them to you. They're not in my pocket. Oh my God. I don't know. I dropped you off. You're supposed to be in your apartment. I gave you your keys. I'm going home. Okay, wait. Don't leave mad, Kane. Kane, don't leave mad. Kane, come here. Give me a hug. I don't want another hug. Don't touch me. Hammer. Kane, where are my keys? You smell like French fries. Get the fuck off of me. I'm leaving. And then you walk over, you piss into a bush outside your apartment. And while you're pissing and I'm getting into my car, I hear in the middle of the night out in your apartment complex, Kane, I found my keys. They were in my hand. I'm not doing this again.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. That was the drunk show at Tacoma Comedy Club, and Kane was my designated driver and swore he would never do it again.
No, and I never did. Actually, that's not true. But that's when you got on stage and started making out with Jubal.
Okay. I didn't make out with him. Fucking jeez. I wasn't that drunk. He was trying to make the announcements. Yeah, I was fucking with him. He was making the announcements, and I was like nibbling on his ear. And I fucking was behind him playing with his teats. But I didn't make out with him. I was just fucking with him because he was trying to do the announcements, and I was like, I'm going to fuck with him.
You were so hammered. You pressed your semi-hard penis into his pants.
Yeah, right. On stage. Yeah. But yeah, that just got, watching this dude drunk and seeing him racist made me think about, and then when I was drunk, I honestly don't remember anything. Once the Zoomin' with the Homies show ended, I guess I got on IG Live, which I don't remember any of that. And I don't remember, and no. I mean, so I have no idea what I said or what I could have said or whatever, but everybody was like,
Larry Bird is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Fighting on it. Here's
the feedback I got is that I yell, obviously you know that, and I'm very loving, I guess, which I think I'm a happy drunk, for the most part. So
yeah, you're not bad. You're no Anthony. Anthony is probably the best drunk because he's smaller than you. He likes to get the party started. So he does a lot of dancing, and he likes to kiss. He kisses on the mouth. At my wedding, he got hammered. He started a Soul Train, and then he kissed me like 4 or 5 times directly on my mouth.
Oh my God.
But then he also was doing it to probably everybody else. And but then I would say then after that, you have a threshold where you're like, you're really fun and funny, and you're easy to pick on because you're not as quick anymore. You're not as fast with your comebacks, so you're easy to get shots in until you're like, oh yeah, shut up, stupid, and then that's really all you got. But then you roll over, and then your inhibitions are completely out the window. You're as loud as anybody can possibly be. You actually shove people out of the way so you can talk to the person you want to talk to. I watched you walk into a group of people because you wanted to talk to Coletta, and you shoved. These two people were in the middle of talking to him, and you fucking, like they were stuck elevator doors, and you went, hiya! And you're like, Mike.
Oh God, that's so fucking it. Oh fuck. But that actually brings up a good, with that talking about being at Tacoma Comedy Club, brings up the whole point of this thing. I don't know how long we're in. We're already in whatever. I can't see time on this thing. But yeah, we wanted to tell some good green room / bombing stories. And these aren't all ours. And we'll tell you, some people will tell you who it is and some we can't. But first bombing story. Well, you know what 2 things I wrote down for you, Kane?
What?
One you may not remember. Well, you'll remember when I say it, but you probably didn't think about bringing it up. 13 coins.
I don't know this.
Seattle, 13 coins.
Okay.
Do you know 13 coins?
It sounds familiar. Is it a mic? Was it an open mic?
It was like a restaurant, and the black lady, the black girl, she was like, I think she was like 18, 19 in the restaurant heckling you.
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, fuck. How can you not remember this story? We were at, I think.
Oh, did she get me?
Yes.
She ended up getting me and then leaving?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she fucking, I had no comebacks.
Yes.
She kept fucking anything I said she didn't like,
Yeah.
and she kept fucking smoking me. She got me that, yes, and then she fucking was like, bye, motherfucker. And left.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, that's right.
You blocked it out.
I forgot about that. Oh my.
That and I put for you Richland, Washington. This isn't a bombing story. This is after the show.
Oh, is it when you made that old woman
yes.
dance with me and I couldn't get out of it?
Yes. All right. So, do you remember the 13 coin story other than what you just said, or no?
No, I don't really remember.
Oh, fuck, I wish I could. I just remember, yeah, like you said something like where you like went at her with something and she immediately was able to turn it. And
yeah, there was nothing. I don't remember it, and I don't remember what I said, but I do know that she heckled me. She didn't like me. So she heckles me, and then I think I'm on top of my game that night, and I am clearly not. And I say some horse shit that's like maybe supposed to get me out of it. Like, I don't go to your fucking, I don't go to whatever. And she like smashes, she like turns that around, and I'm like, okay. So now it's a battle, and I am losing. I'm like Eminem at the beginning of 8 Mile. I'm just standing there with the mic in my hand. And I'm like, I got nothing. And then as she's leaving, I think I said something about like, how like, I'm glad you're leaving. And she was like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's like, so if you're watching this and you're not a comic, when you're dealing with a heckler or you're going in at somebody, they may hit you with something and then you fire back, and this may be going on in your head though. You're like, I'm going to get them. I'm going to keep digging. We'll maybe go back and forth, but I'm going to hit one line where the crowd will go crazy. And then I'll be like, yeah, bro, that's what I do.
Yeah,
and then when it just never comes, but the person keeps getting you, the heckler, And then people start looking around like, fuck, man, is this guy gonna fucking?
Yeah, this guy sucks. That was the vibe in the room. She had made me really rethink doing stand up ever again, because she was so quick and sharp and funny. Everything she got me on, she broke me down completely to the bare minimum of what I was, and I was fucking nothing that night.
So
Dedicated me.
And if anybody's listening to this that's a longtime listener of the show, some of these stories you may have heard. I'm thinking there's probably a lot you haven't. I'm going to tell the first, my first a bombing story at the Parlor Live. So I have to set it. This is the one when I did a guest spot for Harold Gomez and Jeff Dye. Yeah, so I have to set this up. So I had moved from Boston to Seattle. I've been in Seattle maybe 6 months to a year, maybe, and I prided myself on grinding. Like I was like, before, this, and the Parlor was maybe 3 years open or 2 years open, and it was the #1 club in the Northwest at the time. It was the A club, and everybody was trying to get in there, and Harold Gomez was featuring for Jeff Dye, who was from Seattle, and Jeff Dye was headlining, and Harold got me a guest spot. He's like, oh, I've talked to Jeff. He said you can do a guest spot. Awesome. And Jeff didn't know me, Now I know Jeff. He's one of the nicest dudes in comedy. So I go up and I think I'm doing 5 or 7 minutes, and I'm ending on a joke that looking at it now, the joke wasn't worked out. It wasn't finished. I had an idea of where I was going with the joke, but it wasn't worked out. And the whole premise of the joke is, and I think I did it on one of my IG stories, a variation of it, but that when I go to a gym to work out, I'm self-conscious because I'm so big that I feel like everybody looks at me like, oh, this guy fucking can lift the whole building, right? But I've never lifted weights, so I'm weak as shit. So I say in the joke, I have to make excuses. It's like if somebody's waiting for the bench press and they're like wondering why I'm doing so little weights, I'll be like, oh, I tore my shoulder, the doctor told me to go light, but I'm doing this for every machine. So I say I get to the point where I'm running out. This is my closing joke, by the way. My closing joke.
Oh, no.
So I say I get to the end of my workout and I'm running out of excuses. And this is exactly how I say this final line, just so people know. I go, I was running out of excuses. So when people look at me, I'm like, oh, sorry, I've just been so weak ever since I got AIDS. And the whole audience in unison just go, oh. And I don't have more time. I don't have more jokes. I don't have anything to fucking save it. And I remember it was one of those deals where as I said it, I was like, oh yeah, this wasn't a good idea. This wasn't the right choice. Yeah. Why did I choose this? And so I remember when I heard dude, it's so crazy how vividly you remember bombs. I was on the left front of the stage, and when I heard, I kind of like in my inside kind of chuckled, and I looked around and I just go, that's it. Good night, everybody. So, and also I forgot to mention, this is also my audition for the club. This is my opportunity to show what I got to the club. And Ruben, the manager, Ruben, the manager, supposedly was watching my set, which now we know he doesn't watch anything. The
I like this set. Good job. I really like this stuff.
Yeah. Well, why don't you? Okay, it's cool. So why don't you call
nice. It's at the end there, what you did.
Just take my number, and I'll never fucking return a call.
I'll be in the green room making you uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's a green room story. I'm adding that to the list. You're Tommy Davidson.
No, not Tommy Davidson.
Or David Allen Greer. Sorry.
Living around in living color, are you? Just the cast? Remember when you met Jim Carrey?
J-Lo? All right, so the other part of this story, though, that's so great is, so that's how I end. That's it. Good night. And I go back in the green room. Harold, I think as I walked in, Harold said, "Good job," just to fucking be nice or whatever.
Yeah.
So Harold's on stage, and I'm sitting in the way that the green room is set up at the parlor is you walk in, and it's kind of, you're on the right side of the room, but it's kind of just a square, you know.
Right.
I'm straight ahead of the door, and I'm sitting in the couch, and I have my head down, and I'm thinking about all the places I went wrong in my life. I'm thinking about what am I going to do now that comedy's over for me and that I'm never going to work here. And what?
Going back to T-Mobile.
Yeah. And as I'm sitting there, like, just fucking going, why did I do that? Why? And I just keep asking why. Out of my left ear, because the stage is here to my left, I'm behind it. All I hear are just boom, laughter, boom. Harold is killing. Mm-hmm. So I hear, that's my time, good night or whatever. Crowd goes fucking crazy. As I'm sitting in the green room, Harold kicks open the green room door. Light is shining from behind him. He raises both his arms like Jesus. And as the crowd is screaming his name, going crazy, he just goes, "That's what I do. That's what I do." Oh, fuck.
He's really annoying because I've watched him.
Doesn't people back their money?
That, but also I've watched him crush at open mics with new material. It's really upsetting to watch him how good. But what?
Now he doesn't do comedy anymore.
Harold quit.
Dude, he's been quit. He's like a cook, I think.
Oh, Harold, no. Oh man. I remember when he was opening for Steve-O, and Steve-O kept wanting to tell more stories because he was like just working out, being a stand-up and like transitioning, and Harold was featuring, and he started off doing 20 on Thursday, and then they cut his time down to 15, then they cut his time down to 10, then eventually I think they cut him down to 7, because Steve-O just wanted to go longer. So he right before the set, he comes over to what was Grit City Comedy Club just down the road.
Right.
I'm doing a set there, and we're all outside smoking, and Harold comes by just to see who's there and what's up. And he's like, "Hey man, they keep cutting my time. Like, and I keep crushing. Like, the more time they cut from me, like the show is just getting like tighter and tighter, and it's better and better." And like I'm mid drag, and I go, "I hope they just cut your time completely, and you're never allowed to work there again."
And now he doesn't.
Oh, no,
he's done, and so is that club.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Do you want to tell your? I have a list of. I'll rattle off these. I won't tell these yet. We'll tell them here in a sec.
I want to tell one. It's the hardest I've ever laughed watching somebody bomb.
Okay.
So there was a weekly Wednesday show at Hooters Casino in South Park, Washington. And Andrew Rivers had it because he was, oh my God, I got to tell that. I'll tell you a comedy-related bombing story that was my first time on the radio, but we'll tell that later on. I'll go and you go. But so Rivers gets this room because he's on his dad's show, Bob Rivers, which was a big show in Seattle, big morning show. And so Rivers starts going on the road, and he needs someone to take over the Hooters thing. Asked me to do it. I start doing it weekly. It's just a paycheck. It's just like extra coin in my pocket. The gig sucks because
I did that room before.
Several times. You would just come in and fill in spots because you just wanted to test out material. Some days you would catch the audience all paying attention. They're done gambling. They're just eating shitty chicken wings, and now they're watching a show, and it's actually gone. I watched Roger crush at the Hooters Casino before, but it's not set up for stand-up. One, they have the speaker system that plays in the ceiling throughout the entire casino restaurant and bar, which is where the show's located. On the other side is always a poker tournament going on every day.
Yeah, I remember this.
And they have music going on, and then when they don't have music going on, they're calling tables. There's a poker tournament going on.
Bob Jones, table 13. Bob Jones.
Yeah.
And,
So
then,
they
and you also hear ching, 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 ching,
Yeah.
ching, ah, we got a winner over here. Ah, fuck.
yeah. So they'll call poker tournaments. They have the slots going. The music is on a near constant basis, and they don't turn the TVs off. You need if you've never been to a comedy show before in your entire life, you need to be absolutely concentrating on the show. Otherwise, you miss practically everything the comedian is saying. And this particular time, and I've just watched bomb after bomb after bomb. I bomb. I go up there every week. I eat my shit,
And
then
you're like, good night. Check, please.
exactly. I just test material. I get my $50, and then I bring up the rest of the comics, and then I bounce. And this particular day, my throat was just, my voice was gone. I could barely talk when I got there. And by the time I had gotten there, I was with my buddy Sean, who would drink for free as my buddy. I would just give him all of my free drinks if he just came with me. And I couldn't, by the time I got there, I looked at Sean, I'm like, you're gonna have to go on. I can't keep my voice going. Like, you're gonna have to do my job for me. Sean says, cool. So with what little voice I have, I bring on Sean, and then I just sit and watch. And Ron Osborne, who I've done many shows with before, usually is one of the hardest crushing comics that works through. He's a road dog, and he's fucking awesome. And they bring him on, and we try to get the music to go as low as possible, and it's not happening. And during his set, he can't get to a punchline because there is some rapid fire poker shit going on the other side of the roll. Every time he's at a set, he's like, yeah, so I used to be a Marine. So we got to table 14, and we're gonna start the poker at table 14. Then he'd be like, all right, so anyway, yeah, so I used to be a Marine. And he's eating shit, and he's like constantly trying to talk his way through it. And finally, as he's mid setup for this, he's like almost to a punchline. He hears over the speaker system, bird is the word, bird is the word. And they like somehow turned it up. Someone had turned up the music, and then he stops and he can hear it. And now he's not talking, and all you can hear is bird is the word. And I am hyperventilating. I am laughing. He's not doing anything. He's just standing there, not moving. And then finally, after I would say a full minute of him just standing there, he goes, yeah, he goes, is that the fucking bird song? And one guy with his back turned to him, watching fucking ESPN highlights, goes, yep, and takes a drink of his beer. Ron puts the mic back in the mic stand, and he just sits there and he waits for the bird song to end. And I since I can't actively make laughter come out because my voice is gone, I have a headache. Tears are streaming down my face.
Can I just say that is actually there's not a more perfect song in that scenario. And it just keeps going over and over. I said, but the bird is the word. I can just see fucking Ron just like, and then right when he's about to grab it,
but the part that was even funnier is when you think the song is done, it's not, because there's a moment when it just stops. The song just stops, and you think it might be done, but then you hear baba umama, baba umama. And Ron just sitting there like,
oh fuck.
And I could not stop. And even during the song, you hear tail 14. He couldn't do anything.
Oh fuck. Oh dude.
I could not stop laughing. It was so fucking funny. That was the fucking funniest thing ever.
And now I know 100% for a fact, anytime you or Ron hears that song, that's what you think of.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You'll be at a Walmart, you'll be like, Ron Osborne.
You know what's ironic too is he has a joke in his act about going to a Kmart during Christmas time and how you can't listen to the music because Kmart will interrupt it so they can go like, and so the joke is, I won't do it, but you guys get the idea where you hear Christmas music, come, they told me, pump, and then it just cuts in the middle to be like, $7.99 off toilet paper if you want to get, we get extra hands over to Teller too. And it's so funny, and it's just, the irony hit me, and it's just so, and he didn't do the bit that night too. He didn't do it because it was actively happening to him.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
All right, this is a two-parter, one-person two-parter. Our mutual buddy, Phil Fox.
Oh, I was so hoping you had a Fox bombing story.
I mean, honestly, this could be 3 hours of Phil Fox bombing. I'm going to tell three, and I'm going to two of them I'm going to try to tell as quickly as possible. So we have to get back for those that because Phil hasn't been on for a while. Phil's and I'm only going to say this because Phil has come on the podcast and talked about it. He's dealing with addiction, and so he's taking time to deal with that. But I talked to him as he's going through this, and I love him. You love him. We all love him. He's dealing with it. Little backstory on Phil you need to know about Phil. He is a world-class juggler. He was like a fucking kid's magician. I'd say he is the definition of, he's walking Murphy's Law. He's just, it's like the lovable loser, and like whatever fucking can go wrong will go wrong with Phil, and it's always the funniest fucking thing. That's why I'm like smiling just thinking about him. And he's like, you love him though. He is just a train wreck.
He has brought us endless amounts of joy in our life. There's this Dave Attell joke where he goes, you ever make fun of somebody so much you feel like you should thank them for all the good times you've had?
Yeah.
That's Phil. And what's even greater about Phil is when Phil will try to roast you back, he gets so self-conscious about what he's supposed to say that his roasts are never funny, which makes it funny. Like he can't be funny on purpose.
Yeah.
There's a weird anomaly where he's hilarious, but when he tries, it's just
dude, we've all said how he is off stage, if somehow he can get that to relate to on stage, he would be bigger than Chappelle. He would go down as one of the greats. So
if he had the genius level of Andy Kaufman awareness,
yes,
he could be the next Andy Kaufman.
And
but
he's tried everything, different angles with stand-up. So I'm going to give you three stories. I'll tell you the first. This one's related to the first time meeting Phil. So, and it's kind of extended. So there used to be a thing called stand-up boot camp, run by Louis Anderson and Kyle Cease, and they would go to different clubs around the country. People would pay a large entry fee and learn stand-up. So one of them was at the Parlor. So I was there at the Parlor, and I'm watching this thing. And then they said, okay, we're going to ask different comics or these new people here in the boot camp to go up and do like 5 minutes. Phil had never done stand-up and joined the stand-up boot camp. So Phil goes, they're like, okay, who's next? Oh, and by the way, Phil always introduces himself by saying, Phil Fox, Fox like the animal. And if you're in a group of 100 people, he won't go, hey, I'm Phil Fox, Fox like the animal, nice to meet you. No. He will go, Phil Fox, Fox like the animal, nice to meet you. Phil Fox, Fox like the animal, nice to meet you. Phil Fox, 100 people he will do that with. So he gets up on stage. So that Phil Fox, okay, so he comes up there. He does, I don't know what his first joke is. He does a joke and doesn't really do anything. Couple chuckles. Does his second joke, also bombs. And in this silent room, Phil, after his joke bombs, just goes, ugh. You are like, what? Sorry. Does his next joke, bombs, does it again. We're fucking dying because his jokes are just fucking bombing, but his fucking, oh God, dude. So
the single funniest thing he's ever come up with.
Oh, dude. And then, so I meet him there, and I'm dying at this fucking weird, quirky, and he's got like buggy eyes, and he looks like Seth Rogen, kind of. He's so animated, and he just wants to be loved and he just wants to be funny, and he is off stage. So when I met him, I was like, this guy is fucking unintentionally hilarious. I got to meet him. I start talking to him. Again, he's never done stand-up, and so I say, hey, you know, I don't know you. I like your energy. You crack me up. You want to go with me for Andre Paradise's Shades of Laughs comedy tour thing? And he fucking, do you know that you remember the story, right? Yeah. So Phil, he's like, fucking sure. So I'm like, yeah, you can ride with me. You'll have a place to stay. You'll just be like a road dog. You'll learn the road. And so Shades of Laughs is a comedy competition, predominantly, black. I was gonna say non-white, but that's predominantly black. And it's run by our buddy Andre Paradise. And so I'm in this comedy competition, and all the comics are great. We're all cool, and Phil becomes the mascot of the comedy competition. Every city we go, and people kind of get that Phil's just this fucking weird, funny, lovable dude.
Yeah.
So one of the shows, I don't know if it was Andre or one of the other comics, they have what's called a stall set. So if you're doing a competition, at the end of everybody's set, you got to add up the numbers. And while that's taking place, you don't want people to just sit there. So you have what's called a stall set, where a comic will go up and do 10 to 15.
Which is the best set of the night.
Yeah. And so that they can stall while numbers are being added up. So somebody, I think maybe the third or fourth night, says, hey, why don't we let Phil do the stall set? And I was like, okay. Never done stand-up before. Not even an open mic. All he did was the fucking 5 minutes at the parlor going, ah! So, again, Phil is a magician and juggles and this and that. So Phil goes on stage with, you don't know what it is at the time, but like this little, it looks like a bike pump. He goes on stage and he's looking at the crowd. I don't think he even saying anything. Pulls out a single balloon, plugs this thing into it. And so in his head, he's about to do a balloon animal. So he starts pumping this balloon, and it's one of those long balloons that just goes, those huge things. So Phil is looking at a lady in the front row, and he's just going, He keeps doing this to the point where he didn't want this to happen. The balloon pops. It fucking pops, and he has no other balloons. So as that balloon popped, so did his whole set. So as soon as that thing goes pop, Phil, realizing he has nothing to do for the next 10 minutes, looks at it and then just goes, fuck! He then, and so these competitions are at different venues / restaurants / bars all over the Northwest. So when that breaks, he goes, fuck! He takes his balloon pump item, slams it on the ground. As it bounces back up, he fucking kicks it. It goes across the room, bam, dents the wall, fucking explodes, and goes on the ground. And right when that happens, all the comics look at me like, yo, what's up with your fucking boy? And I'm like, I just met him. I don't fucking know. He's fucking crazy. I don't know. Oh, God, dude. The audience was just like, do we laugh? Do we fucking find shelter? What is happening? Oh,
shit.
That was like my first week spent with Phil. The next two, I'll make them quick. I'm going to just tell the Richland bombing story with Manny, and then the Doug Benson story. So the Phil bombing story. So last year, I go to Richland, Washington. I think you couldn't go, and so Manny featured Manny, our good buddy out of Seattle, and Phil. Phil was like, Phil, who lives in Seattle, I was like, come out. I was like, you can stay at the hotel with us, come out, do guest spots or whatever. Uh-huh. So all weekend, and Phil hadn't been doing stand-up for a couple of years probably.
He quit.
Yeah. So Phil comes out, he's doing his guest spots. They're going, okay. At best, they're going okay. And the gift spot's like 5 minutes. Final show of the weekend, the host is not there. He can't make it. So I think the booker was like, well, do you want to just have Phil host? And I'm always like, sure, what could go wrong? So fucking Manny, God, is so funny. So Phil is up hosting. He's got to do 15 minutes. He's probably 3 minutes in and has not gotten a laugh. The audience also, it'd be one thing if you're not going to laugh, but the audience is like, oh, I like this guy. He's trying. They don't like him. They do not like him at all. At about 7 minutes, Manny looks over at me and goes, dude, should we light him? I go, oh, absolutely not. Oh, no. No, you do not fucking touch that light. I may make him go long.
20 minutes.
Yeah, because he was so fucking amped up and was like, oh, dude, yes, I'm going to fucking kill it, blah, blah. I'm like, all right. Dude, he goes, I think he ended his set by saying something to the effect of, well, we made it through, something like that. He brings up Manny. I'm in the lobby of Jokers, by the in between the bowling alley and stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know Phil, you won't know this, but Kane, you'll get this. He comes barreling out of the back side door, doing that weird fucking manic walk, and he looks like he's seen a ghost, and he had just brought Manny up, and immediately beamlined speed walk to me, and he just goes, Jay, what happened? What the fuck happened? I bombed. I was like, yeah, you did. It's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It happened. You fucking bombed. He was like, that was the worst I've ever done in my life. I was like, yeah, I mean, fuck, I don't know what to tell you. His face, though, when he was just in such disbelief, not only that he bombed, but that you can bomb that bad. He was just, I bombed. I was like, yeah, I mean, fuck, that was in Richland. And then this is my last story with Phil. Doug Benson. So for those that don't know, Doug Benson, he's known as like a weed comic, does a lot of jokes related to weed. He's a marijuana advocate, if you want to call it that, whatever. Mm-hmm. Also been very nice, took me out on the road to feature for him for a bunch and had me on his podcast. Great dude. Very chill, as you can suspect a weed comic would be. Mm-hmm. So Phil's interaction, so this is the first time I ever smoked weed was with Doug Benson. And I was working with him on the weekend, and I think on Thursday I told him, I was like, Doug, I've never gotten high before. I want to get high with you. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah. He goes, are you sure? And I was like, hey, if you're gonna do martial arts, you'd want to go with Bruce Lee. If you want to do basketball, you'd want to go Larry Bird, not Michael Jordan. And if you want to get high, you do it with Doug Benson, right? And he's like, well, let's wait till the end of the weekend, and if you still feel that way, we'll get high. So I was like, all right, cool. So Saturday comes, the show's over. And Phil's like, watch this. Again, awkward Phil walks up to Doug Benson wearing an all-black sweatshirt. He's got on an all-black hoodie and walks up to Doug Benson with a black marker and goes, hey, can you sign my shirt? And Doug looks at his shirt and he just goes, yeah, but it's like black. And Phil goes, yeah, can you autograph it? And Doug just goes, okay. So he signs his shirt, and Phil is like my designated driver while I get high. So we're about to go up to Doug's room to smoke. And so I say to Doug, I go, hey, Doug, is it cool if my buddy Phil, he's like my designated driver, can he come up too? And Doug just goes, yeah, just tell him not to be weird. Don't be weird, you fucking animal. So we go up to Doug's room. We're probably in Doug's room for about 45 minutes, and it's me, it's Phil, I think Justin Ruppel might have been there. I forget who, David Huntsberger. David Huntsberger, I think, was his feature was there at the time. Doug Benson, myself. So somebody comes up on the TV. So we're all in a circle. Phil's sitting next to me. We're all sitting in a circle smoking, getting high. And I think it was Rob Hubel comes up on the TV. And as he's on the TV, Doug and David, I think it was David, who know him, start telling this story, a personal story about how they know him and, something really funny anecdote, And even though I'm high and my senses are dulled, I can still feel Phil next to me, just like fucking, oh, he wants to jump in so bad. I can feel it. I can fucking feel it. So they get done talking about Rob Hubel, and Phil starts to talk. And Phil's like, again, their story was very personal. They know him. And Phil starts, I saw him at this thing. And dude, he was so funny and blah, blah, blah. Again, even though I'm high and my senses are dulled, in my head, I'm still going, please have a point to this story. Please have a point to the story. I vouched for you. Please have a point. This fucking stammering, stuttering fuck goes on for like a good 5 minutes holding the floor with the story, to where the point when it ends, it's like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and I saw Rob Hubel. It's dead silent for maybe 10, 15 seconds. And then Doug Benson just looks around and just goes, well, that ruined the evening. Everybody's got to go. And then we did. We got up and left. We all fucking, I'm like, oh, we're leaving. And he's like, yep, it's over. That's the evening. Oh, and the whole fucking way home, fucking Phil was like, does he hate me? He hates me. I go, dude, tomorrow he's not going to know you from a fucking ant, you know? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Well, that ruined the evening. Everyone's got to go. Yeah. All right, so those are my Phil Fox stories. All right, hit me with one of yours.
I just think I mean, I can't express to the listening audience enough how much of a Phil Fox story will ruin the flow of the conversation. You will be sitting there back and forth, pick a topic, we all have something to say. If we don't, we just don't say anything. You can kind of, the more you do stand-up, you get these instincts in your head where you're like, this isn't going to serve.
Yeah, I don't want to bomb.
Yeah, I know that this is not a good story. It's related, but there's no reason for it. Phil does not have that little voice in his head, and he will tell long, convoluted stories with characters, people he needs to remember. Accents. He has to do the accents. And then he has to make sure they're right. And then if he fucks up, he laughs in the middle of it. Before you know it, what should have been maybe a 2-3 minute story is now 10 minutes. And at this point, the rest of us have signaled to each other, we're just going to wait to the end. We're going to see if this thing has a point. And they very rarely do. Very rarely. Sometimes he kind of gets there. Other days, he's lost his train of thought, and now he's just rambling, trying to get to the end of it. And the amount of joy that is now brought to us when we go, what the fuck are you talking about? And then we just continue to shit on his and he never learns a lesson. He will continue to tell long stories forever.
He's the best.
Oh my God.
Fuck. At some point you have to tell the David Allen Greer. That's probably my favorite green room story with you.
Okay. So this is, I can be awkward sometimes, not all the time, but if I feel like if any point I think about the stakes involved in really anything, I forget how to be a charming person or even a regular person. I've completely ruined sets when I realized there's like money to win. If I don't know there's anything to win, I'll just go up and have a good time. The second there's a dollar amount attached to the end of it, I completely fuck the shit up. I can't help it. So I'm in the green room of the parlor, and
the place that I mentioned earlier
and a place that doesn't exist anymore. But
the manager's a cunt.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And I'm sitting there, and I'm doing guest sets for David Allen Greer. And it's like any other show as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to go up and have a good time. That's why I'm here. That's why they booked me, man.
Exactly.
And Jay's not there this time. I don't think you're there.
I think I was on the road. Yeah, I wasn't there.
So somebody else was hosting. Anyway, so waitress comes in, asks if I want anything. I order a beer. and this is before I get drunk and alcoholic, sober 3 years, but I had one line, and that was, I don't get drunk before a show. I just can't handle it unless it's like the drunk show.
Yeah.
Then I'll do it. So I have my beer, and she goes, "Are you gonna want one for when you're on stage?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So she leaves.
Nothing crazy. Not shots.
Yeah.
Just
a
beers.
Beer. Just beers.
2. That's it.
The manager rolls in, and I'm sitting there writing. I'm sipping on my beer, and manager rolls in, and he's like, get up right now. Dag is on his way.
Is this your first time meeting him, by the way?
David Allen Greer?
No, the manager.
This is like my 3rd time. We don't really know each other well yet.
But that night, that's your first interaction with him that night, is you're in the green room. And just for non-comics, in the green room, it's supposed to be a sanctuary. You know, it's the place you get your head right. You're trying to relax and get ready for the show, which this manager was always an asshole and always be in the green room for some fucking dumb reason. So anyways, I just want to set that. So this is your first seeing him that night.
Yeah, this is really my first interaction, which you would think would probably end my relationship with the club after this particular situation. But for some reason, he kept booking me. So he comes in and he goes, get up. Dag's on his way. He's in the elevator. I want him to make sure that he wants to pick any seat in the room. So get up so he can, if he wants to sit there, he's going to sit there. And I'm like, all right. So I put my fucking notebook in my backpack, pick up my beer, and I just stand in the corner by where the door hinges are. Right.
Which makes it even more awkward. You're just some fucking weirdo that he doesn't know, sitting there with a beer.
I'm just standing there with my beer, and it's full. I've only taken a sip out of this one, so I'm waiting for Dag. Fucking, he leaves, and now I'm just standing there by myself in the green room, waiting for David Allen Greer, who hasn't shown up or is even aware of the situation. He didn't tell. David Allen Greer, as far as I know, and everybody else who's heard this story, has told me one of the nicest dudes in stand-up. So the fact that I have a story like this, where it kind of makes David Allen Greer seem like the common denominator is the manager of the club and fucking me, right? Those are the 2 common denominators. Because everyone else is like, he's the coolest. I don't know.
Yeah, he took me. He has a big thing for. It sounds so random, but it's true. He has a big thing for like meats, smoked meats. He has a smoker, all this. So when I worked with him, he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, you want to go to this place in Seattle? They have their world-renowned meats." So I was like, "Sure." He bought me a sandwich. Everything. Yeah, he's awesome. Anyway,
that's what he says. I haven't met that man yet.
And you know what though, Kane, same thing. If I was talking to David, I'd be like, "Dude, Kane's great. He's a stand-up guy. He's a fucking good heart. One of the best people you can meet. He's not creepy. He's not weird." And David Allen Greer would go, "I haven't met that Kane yet."
Exactly.
Oh my God, sorry.
All right. So I'm standing there. Finally, he comes. But I'm standing next to the door. The door hinges. So the door opens and hides me behind the door. So I'm like, fuck. And I go to push it so I can get like squeak it. Someone's holding the door.
Ruben, I bet.
Yeah, it's Ruben, and he's pressing the door, keeping me in that little corner. So I have to wait for him to release the door, because otherwise it's a fucking pushing match. And I got my beer. So
fucking like.
So David Allen Greer's got one headphone in. He's on his phone. He's looking around, and Ruben's standing behind him, and he's like, all right. So finally gets his attention. He goes, sit wherever you like. David Allen Greer sits the farthest away from where I was sitting and sits down. And then Ruben finally gets in enough that where the door closes, the door swings around, reveals me standing there. And David Allen Greer just sees me standing behind the door, holding a beer, looking at him, and then immediately David Allen Greer looks away. Like he's like, What the fuck was that?
Is this guy like the coat check for the green room? And he's drinking on the job? What the fuck is this guy doing?
Right? So they're talking about what the show's gonna be like and how the sets are gonna go and blah, blah, blah. Right at that moment, the waitress comes in with my second beer, hands it to me. Now I'm standing there holding 2 beers. Ruben turns around, goes to walk. I'm about to sit down. Ruben sees me holding 2 beers, points his big fat fucking finger in my face and goes, "Don't get drunk," and then leaves. Now it's just me and David Allen Greer.
And did he introduce you?
No! He didn't know anything.
All David knows, so okay, let's recap it from David's thing. Okay, you're welcome to the club, David. Here, come on into the green room. Let me just shut the door. Not going to address the random white dude there holding 1 beer. If you need anything, David, you let me know. I'm the manager. I'm going to take care of you. Oh, here's a waitress. Gave it to this guy you don't know again. Don't get drunk. All right, David, I'll talk to you later. And now he's just in the room with a fucking psycho.
Yeah, he has no idea why I'm there and why I'm not leaving, right? Which instinctively I was like, just pick your stuff up and leave. But I'm one of the comics, and we enter out the door through the beads onto the stage. And I'm going to just go sit in a packed room with everybody with all my stuff. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm just sitting there and we're not talking at all. And it is uncomfortable. And finally, the host comes in, starts talking. I think it might have been Manny. Yeah, it was Manny. I think Manny comes in. What do you want me to say? Blah, blah, blah. Then finally, Manny finally like addresses that I'm a comic because David is doing whatever he's doing on his phone.
How long before Manny comes in, how long are you in this room with David Allen Greer that he doesn't know who or what you are? And are you talking? You haven't said anything yet.
I haven't said anything yet. We'd probably be like 5 minutes of pure silence. And I'm just like, I'm not writing in my notebook, but I'm just looking at it. I'm not looking at the jokes. I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? This is really weird and uncomfortable. And I found, and like, you kind of realize at that moment, like what kind of person you are in moments of stress like this. And I found out I'm awkward. I am, you know? And so I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is so weird. Manny comes in and Manny levels everything out. And he's like, oh, hey, Kane, what's going on, man? I was excited that you were on the show. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a good night or whatever. And David's like, and then David, there's like maybe like a little air of like, okay, it's a comic and whatever. So the show starts. I go up. I do whatever. It's fine. I think maybe I might have bombed. I'm not completely sure. I don't feel good about it. I get back in the green room. I'm standing there. Now, David, during my set, has moved. And he is sitting like close to where I was sitting when I left, in the middle. And the features on stage, Manny's doing something. So it's just me and David Allen Greer, and I'm looking at my situation. I had also ordered tacos. So I, for some reason, look at David Allen Greer, and he looks up at me and he goes, nice set. He's just being nice. Nice set. I took it as this is the first warm reception from David Allen Greer I've had yet. And for some unknown reason, to this day, I still have no idea why I did this. I sat right next to him. We were almost touching knees.
Oh my God.
That's how close I sat next to him. And then I had to shift and get a little bit away from him, but not make it so I'm like, oh, I sat too close to him. That was a mistake. Let me shift far away. I shifted just enough to where we have a little sliver of space. And then I get so overwhelmed with how awkward I'm being. I'm like, make it not awkward. Talk to him. And I turn to Dag, whose face is right next to me. If it was COVID-19, he would have gotten it from me. I say to David Allen Greer, who has one earbud in, and we go, so where are you from? And he goes,
Wait, real quick. You said he's, so as you're looking at me, would he be here or here on my left or my right?
if you're me,
Well, look at my hands. This is my left. This is my right.
right. So he's here.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, he'd be on my left. Now, if he's here and he has in an earpiece, is it this ear that's next to you?
It's the other ear.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
So I'm like, so where are you from? And he's like, I live in LA. I went, oh, cool. That's cool. Good comedy scene out there? Yeah, it's all right. Cool, man. That's cool.
You're also speeding this up, right?
Yeah, it's, yes. You know how it's always like cloudy and rainy out here in Seattle? Is it like always sunny there and like really hot all the time? He doesn't answer. He just takes the dangling headphone that's out of his ear and puts it in his ear. Doesn't acknowledge me anymore.
Oh, fuck.
Then my tacos came. I picked them up. She goes, would you like another beer? I said yes, but I'm going to eat it out here. I'm going to need it out here. And I left.
Oh, fuck.
And then I ate my tacos. I drank my beer. When David Allen Greer got on stage, I went back into the green room, grabbed my bag, and I left. You know, and Courtney Shane Williams is really, really funny. He was featuring. And so like, I didn't, and he's a friend of mine, and I couldn't go back in the green room, even tell Courtney what had happened. I was so embarrassed. So I just, and I almost canceled the week. I almost canceled my guest spots. I was that uncomfortable, but I didn't go back in the green room.
Making me hot. It's so funny. Oh,
it's the most uncomfortable I've ever been.
I don't. You've never told that on stage, right?
No, I haven't. I was planning on like that being like my new jokes into like my new hour after my album, and then COVID. But yeah, I was.
I want to see if that relates because I think it can with how uncomfortable, and especially I think the more you draw it out, how long the delay is too. How it was in real life, where you're just like, oh.
Yeah, man. I was awkward around girls growing up. Like I was uncomfortable around girls because I was a fat kid and I had like really low self-esteem, and I would be awkward with them, but I would never be creepy awkward. I creeped David Greer out. I creeped him out. Just sitting there, just struggling to be a human being, talking to a guy. And like, I know David. I've watched him in movies. I used to love In Living Color. I mean, I'm like a fan, but I've never been super uncomfortable. If I am, I usually just don't talk. I'll just be like, you know, I'll just be like, whatever. And I'm a fan, but if he addresses me, then we can have a conversation. But I'm usually not that. That is some uncomfortable demon. Phil Fox inhabited my body that night and made me a fucking goofball.
I have the ones I have listed: Dwayne Goad and the Kevin Pollak story. Kane Richland old lady. Give it up for the N-word, that guy. And then I can't say his name without fucking ruining him. The drunk story with the tooth falling out.
The drunk story with the tooth.
Parlor. You weren't there, but I'm sure I've told you. Here, I'll tell. Because I'm thinking, can you? We got to do the announcement of taking a little sabbatical. But I was gonna say, can you do a podcast next week or no?
Yeah, I can podcast next week.
All right, and we'll just do more of these stories. We'll do a part 2 to this.
Yeah, cool.
Because this is getting long. So then I'll save the one that I said is the best road story. That one, the big bad Mama Jamma. And I'll think of some more. Oh fuck, I didn't even. Yeah, so we'll save it for part 2 because I want to tell Kevin Fredericks his bombing story. I got to write these down so I don't forget it. Bombing at the Bay Area Black Comic.
We should have Tahir on again. We should have like other comics, and Tahir was one of my favorite episodes we did. Most recent past of the show, and I would actually like to hear because Tahir is such a confident dude, and I would love to hear his bombing stories.
You'd like to hear it? You just end it. Don't do it. I have to fucking, you cocksucker. Very good, Kane. Very good. Very nice. Yeah. All right. It's like, don't do it. Don't you fucking. Excuse me. All right. We'll do. I'll tell that story since it sounds like you don't know it. We'll
yeah,
see.
I'll tell the story about Brad on the road.
Oh, save that. But dude, start putting like I have notes of stories. Put like as you think of them over the week because we'll do a part 2. This will be part 1 because I don't want to be too long. And let's just I'll tell the drunk story of this comic, and then you tell the old lady story in Richland.
Okay.
All right. So I'm hosting at the Parlor. On the show is a headliner. We'll just say his name's Gary. We'll just say Gary. That's his name. So I won't say his last name. So Gary's headlining. On the show is I'm hosting. Justin Ruppel is back in town doing a guest spot. Adam Ray is in town doing a guest spot, and Ron Funch is featuring.
Oh my God.
So this is the second show on Friday. And after the first show ended until the second show started, the headliner drank a bottle of vodka to himself. So I go up, I do my set, Justin goes up, Adam goes up, Ron goes up, everybody does great. The headliner then goes up hammered, and he's like, hey, everybody was great. Let's bring everybody back up here. Big Irish, Big Irish, come up here. So I walk up there. I'm like, okay. I'm on stage now with the headliner. Everybody, come on, Justin, Adam, and Ron, and come on up here. As Adam walks up, he looks at the guy and then kind of looks at the audience, and Adam says, hey, this isn't fucking weird. So now, and Ron finally comes up there. So now we're all on stage. For those that don't know, Ron is black. Everybody else on the show is, well, Justin's Armenian and Adam is Jewish, but not black. Everybody's white, so to speak. So the headliner then says, when Ron comes on stage, he goes, and Ron, he goes, hey, Ron, you're the only one up here that's not black. Don't know what that means. I have no idea, but we all looked at each other like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So now we're all just kind of sitting on stage. People have clapped, and it's kind of died down, so we're looking at each other like, what the fuck are we doing up here? So then we all kind of like start to slowly get off the stage like, okay, fucking, this is weird. This guy starts talking. He's like, yeah, these guys are, so imagine this is my tooth. This tooth here, right? So he goes like this. Yeah, these guys are great. His tooth falls out of his fucking head onto the stage. Just fucking falls out. Oh, in mid-sentence, he's like, everybody's up here great. And falls out, and he goes, oh God, sorry. And then he puts it back in his fucking head. Have I never told you this story?
It feels very familiar.
Okay, I'll tell you afterwards the full name. So it falls out once, puts it back in his head. I start realizing that this show may not go right.
No.
So I start yelling at the other comics, fucking Adam, Justin, Ron, just, I don't know why, but just fucking be ready. Starts talking again. Yeah, and then falls out again. His tooth fell out a second time.
Oh.
Falls out onto the stage. As he's grabbing it, he's like, oh, fuck, I don't know what to do. Guy in the front row goes, how about you tell a joke? So then the headliner, he goes, hey, I'm gonna go in the back really quick, get this taken care of. Let me bring Jay back up here. Jay, come here. I walk up on stage, again, trying to be a good host and cover for a comic. So I was like, hey, sorry, your headliner, yeah, he was at the dentist today, and, he's still, he had the anesthesia or whatever. He's still, I think, a little blah, blah. As I'm saying that, all you hear in this silent room is Ron Funches dying laughing. And he's got a very distinct, high-pitched laugh. And I just go, thanks, Ron. Fuck, I'm trying to cover for the guy. So I did like 15 minutes. Justin did another 15 minutes. Ron, I think, did another 15. And then Adam did 30 or 45. Closed it out, had to refund all those tickets. And then they still booked that fucking guy.
That's unbelievable.
And they paid him for that set. He never went back on stage.
Did he pass out in the green room?
I think he walked back to his room and then
oh,
I was like, Jesus, this fucking animal.
That dude had some shit going on.
Yeah.
He had a lot of fucking demons. That's fucking crazy, dude.
I think he's sober now, which is good for him, but I don't know. Maybe he's not. Who knows? But that night was not good. All right.
I got a bunch of road stories with a guy who has drug and alcohol problems that factor into a lot of the stories. Keep making me have to be sober. Like, I had to actively choose not to drink because of how insane this dude is to work with on the road.
Yeah.
Who later, this will be a tease for everybody, who later had to come apologize to me at an open mic for everything he put me through.
I'm going to put on my story, I have to tell, it's that same person. I think I told you about this. That person where he was convinced, he didn't know who I was texting him or emailing him. He thought it was a booker. Do you know this story? Oh. And he got so mad at me. I'll tell it on the, okay, I'm writing it now. Brad, I almost said his name. We'll wait until the fucking, he was fucking pissed when he found out it was me.
I do know this story. Yes.
You juggle? Do you juggle? Can you tap dance?
And he's
all right. Do you do impressions? Yeah.
We could also tell road stories or show stories where we're actively trashing each other or putting each other in those situations or shitting on other people. Oh, yeah. and then those people being cool with it, but then having to be talked to later.
Oh yeah. Put that on your list. Make a list and put it on your list.
Which I guess has happened quite a bit, where people who we're friends with or cool with, that were are new to the fold, as it were, had to then needed a disclaimer after the fact. People would take new comics away and be like, "That's just what they're like," which I think is such a funny. I think it's such a funny thing that we cultivated, that no one would tell us to our face, "Hey, they're mean, but they don't mean it."
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is it's like somebody would pull. You're talking about fucking what's his name?
Alex.
Yes, Alex Haley, Hanley.
Hannah.
Alex Hannah. Alex. We'll tell the full story, but basically, Alex was this. He's like he just has a little fucking shit-eating grin, and he looks like he's 10 years old. But we loved him. So like the way we show love is we shit on you.
Yeah.
If we like you, we're gonna banter with you. And if we don't like you, we just won't talk to you. So we were bantering and shitting on Alex, and he was giving it back to us, And then somebody apparently took him to the side and was like, they're joking, which I don't want to relieve the fucking punchline until next week. But the thing that these people, these fucking dummies, Alex could have been like, yeah, I'm in that circle, you fuck. You're on the outside looking in, trying to tell me that I'm cool with them. I fucking know, you dipshit.
Yeah, like we're not actively seeking out and picking on you to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
But that has happened. I thought I was cool with somebody. I made fun of them, and they hated my guts for years.
I mean, we're working through it.
We're gonna get there eventually.
Okay, make sure you put that on your list for stories to tell. All right, make the announcement, your sabbatical thing. But will you still do the HollingsWorthless once a week? Is that it? That's all I asked. Once a week, could you do it?
That's fine. That's fine. It's
all
just
right.
talking.
Well, I know that you want to take a break from shit. So, and if it's not, then I mean, if you don't want to do it, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, no, it's just I'm like clogged up creatively. You know, like I need to, and everybody deserves right now especially, everybody deserves a break. And my kid's sister.
You go to McDonald's?
Is that the slogan for McDonald's?
You deserve a break today?
Was that the slogan for McDonald's?
You deserve a break today.
Wasn't because there's da 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 da, I'm loving it, that, but there was one that was really catchy before that came out.
You deserve a break?
I think it might have been that, yeah. And I remember when they changed it.
Ask me 5 more times and have me confirm it.
Hey,
5 more fucking times? That's it, Kane! I just told you!
Do you remember when McDonald's slogan was, I love a break today?
Here we go. You ready? Oh my God. The first one, I just saw the year, and I was like, holy fuck. The first year lists 71. I was born in 71, but the second one is 82. Hold on. It's so fucking catchy.
That is catchy shit. Way better than I'm loving it.
All right.
But yeah,
so Kane deserves one of those.
I need a break. I need a break. And I just want to go hang with my family. My nephew's turning 1 in August, and I got downtime, so I'm just gonna chill in the basement. I'm getting that Ghost of Tsushima or whatever it's called, that samurai game. You know what the coolest part about the samurai game is you can that and
hey, you know what you should do? Wait. As you tell me all about it, what's that called when you
don't you like? Fuck, I see it a million miles away. I see it before you even fucking do it.
I don't make it long-winded. Just kind of.
I know you're gonna,
it.
I knew it. I fucking.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I knew it before you even.
I know.
God damn it! I should have ghosted you. Get it? Oh, whatever. Anyway, so there's an option to play the game in black and white and in Japanese, so you can watch it like an old samurai movie. You can play it like a samurai movie, and yeah. So I'm pretty fucking stoked for that. So, but I'm gonna do that. Trying to just recharge my batteries. I'm having a hard time. I get these joke ideas, but then I'm immediately I'm
Well, the other thing too is we don't have an avenue to work them out really right now.
Right. And yeah, and then I was talking with Delaney, our friend Delaney, just about how addictive social media shit is, and I deleted off the app, and immediately I feel much better mentally, because you just spend all day inside fucking scrolling, and as soon as I deleted it off, I'm like, holy shit. So it just led to me being kind of out. So yeah, the next few episodes, if you follow me on Instagram and you don't see me posting, I just need a fucking break from the shit.
Are you going to post on your social media like a post that like says, "Hey, you should." Can I just recommend you do that? I know, like just one. You have to. I know you have to download it again to do it, or do it online. But it'd be good to let your followers know that care about you, whatever. Just something saying, "Hey, I'm all right. I'm just taking a break for the next like 3 or 4 weeks. I won't be on here. If you send me a message, I may not respond, but just know I'm going to be gone for a few weeks."
I know that Tiffany, the fan of the show, she sent me a message. I saw that you sent me a message. I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm not ghosting you, Tiffany. I just needed to get off social media for a while. But yeah, when I come back, maybe I'll think about it. I'll think about doing it. But yeah, just I think everybody should do this. I think everybody, if you have the capabilities right now to take some time off from things that stress you out, absolutely do it.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking, the world is stressful enough. So, yeah. Anyway, that's really.
Are you cool with? And we can look at it every week, or we do it by week. But you still do this once a week for an hour?
I'm good to do this next week for sure. We do part 2.
All right.
I'll be.
And then we'll go from there.
Actually, I'm flying out Friday, so if you want to record before then, we can do that before then. But I'm flying out.
Oh, are you not going to be able to do it up there?
No, I could do it up there. I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to get one in before I leave.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this will come out Wednesday, so we can do that, or Sunday. You have a day or two to get acclimated.
Sure. Could do that too.
All right.
I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
I know.
And I'm rhyming. Oh, and also check out Kid Cudi and Eminem just dropped a collab together.
Great.
The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady. It is so goddamn good. I can't stop listening to it. It's my new favorite thing.
And I'll just say this really quick as we end it. I went day before yesterday, I went to Vegas, looked at an apartment, 2-bedroom townhome. It's pretty dope. Put in an application, waiting to hear back. But as soon as I get situated, I'm about 95%. I'm going to get a French bulldog.
Ooh.
Wherever I get situated. I got all kinds of ideas for names. I just can't wait. And then Kane's going to come out to the crib.
I'm going to come out to Vegas. I'm going to see his bulldog. We're going to become best friends. And he's going to want to live with me because I'm the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Get rid of that fucking cat.
Don't talk about Griffey like that. Don't you dare disparage Griffey. He's the best.
Right. That's it. Yeah, follow Kane. Oh, well, don't follow Kane. He's not going to be on there, so fuck it.
Yeah, you can follow me, but I mean, I'll be back. But I'm going to have like a regiment.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm Phil Fox.
You don't even know how to do it. You actually injure yourself. All right. I think that's it. So okay. part 2 next week. But until then,
bye.